Today we're installing a 2023 Tesla Model S Plaid front splitter. This is from rpmtesla. It's one of their ABS plastic units that's painted gloss black. I debated doing the carbon fiber units. Those are around 1,100 bucks or so, $700 to $1,100. But problem being is I've already rubbed multiple times on curb areas. I've got the vehicle with already some scratches underneath, but my concern would be with an expensive item, I would just end up messing it up and then have to replace this. Being relatively inexpensive at $180 is actually protective of the front bumper. So I look at it as more of a 180 bucks worth of protection for this. And if it gets messed up, I'm not out but a couple $100. So that's my rationale for putting it on. The only thing I don't like is it used a lot of double-sided tape. It has some mounting screws, but at high mile an hour, they tested it supposedly to 100 plus and it did fine. I do a lot of highway commuting, and so I could see speeds in excess of that, especially with that governored at 175. I don't want it to be flying off on the highway. So we'll see. So I'm going to test it out, see how it does. We're going to start with like the installation part. Let me show you what it looks like. So it's 3 pieces. You got your main front piece that's going to set in here. And then these pieces are going to connect. There's 2 of them. One's going to go, this will be the one to the right side. And it's going to kind of lock in through here and then slide underneath. And then the other one's going to do the same on the left side. So I think with everything else, it matches paint-wise. So I think it's going to look okay. It feels cheap, just feeling it. It is 3M double-sided tape, so it's quality tape. And the screws are just regular screws. I could do rivets. I've got a rivet gun. I just don't have rivets with me. So our first step is basically cleaning the bumper. All surfaces, obviously, anytime you're using tape, have to be extremely clean. So I'm going to run alcohol over all these mounting surfaces here and then underneath because it is relatively dirty. The vehicle, I drive it a lot. I've already put 5,000 miles on it just for driving. So this vehicle gets used a lot. So I'm going to probably put this thing to the test. I put probably 30,000 miles a year at a minimum on vehicles just for commuting, for work. But you can see I already have scratches on my vehicle. So some of these were already there. I noticed it when it was delivered, and some of them have been after the fact. So this will actually be kind of protective in a way. And just to kind of show you what it comes with. So it comes with these 3 pieces. They're kind of wrapped when you get it, and then it's got basically a screw kit. And it's just got random cheap little black screws. And so that's basically all it is. Double-sided tape, that, and then it locks down. So, but the way it locks, since this overlays the top and these kind of go around to the bottom, it kind of wraps. So I think it'll be okay, stable. We'll have to see. So anyway, so I'm gonna do a cleaning of this real quick, and then we'll start the next part. Okay, so we're gonna connect the 2 ends, start with, and do kind of a test fit. So I'm just gonna tighten these down, just semi-tight, just because I don't know where we're gonna end up at. These are a little far apart, so we'll hope it won't be an issue. So we'll set that. I'm gonna do the same for these. Need kind of a longer bend, to be honest with you. I suspect we're probably gonna have to take these loose and try a couple different positions. There's about, I'd say maybe 3/4 inch of adjustment here so that you can kind of adjust the width, which I feel like these bumpers are, standards are pretty good on all of them being the same, so I don't know exactly why you would need this much, but we may find out why here in a minute. Okay, all right. So the first step is pretty easy, and I'm just connecting them. So now we're going to do like a test fit. And we'll kind of go from there. Here's going to be our test fit on the vehicle. This thing is very long and flimsy, so one person wise, it's a bit much. So side. Looks okay. So it looks all right there. This one might be in too far, it looks like to me. Let's see. Looks like it probably works. Let's see. Let's check and see if they look even. Problem you're gonna have is once you set it, that's it. This takes the dunsies. This looks like that's probably pretty good. I guess the other thing you need to check is make sure your corners don't stick out too far. Like this one's flush, that one's not. So I'm going to widen this out just a little bit. Move over this way just a tad. Now that's flush. I like where we are right there. All right, so I'm gonna tighten those and then we'll go from here. Well, next step, they want you to loosen this tape, the corner tapes, as far as for the center section so you can lay it down. So that's what I'm gonna do is pull it off next. I'm gonna mark my spot. And I've got electric screwdriver, but I'm kind of hesitant to use it on this strip, most likely. Okay, so the next part, I'm going to go ahead and pull these tape down, loosen it up, and then we'll start the next part. Okay, so took this, basically the end pieces off and stuck these out so I could grab them. The pieces off there and stuck these out. So then I'm gonna set it on there. So that's my plan. All right, let's try this. And I've got some painter's tape on the front end to give me my alignment to where I was before. So, all right, let's try to pin this down. Both pieces, it's gonna be hard to get them to stay, but I'll do my best. Markings. Okay. Now I've got my markings set. Now I'm going to pull this tape off, let this kind of set up. Just hope it all pulls off and then lay it flush. Come off the center. Here we go. Oh, here goes nothing. Okay. Push down. Use a cloth. Get alcohol on it. Let me just test it real quick. Still looks good. It does. Yeah, it feels like they're about the same place. Okay, so it's pretty centered. That's good. So I'm just going to press down. And what I'll do when I get done is I'm going to take, oh man, that little scratch. You're missing it around here. So what I'll do when I get done is I'm going to tape this front and tape it down with a painter's tape and keep pressure for like a day. And that's just right. Alright, so that center is now locked down. Alright, the next part is going to be sticking the sides. So I'll stick those up. I want to take them loose a little bit, so I'm going to come off camera for a minute. And then, just like we did here, just take the tape loose, get it ready, hold pressure, and then we'll go to the screws, okay? Okay, so taking the tape loose down here. Same for down here. And then I'm going to test fit. And coming up. And we got to make sure it's not too high, not too shallow. So we're going to put it stationary, and then we're going to do one side at a time and just hope for the best. Just try to get you at an angle where you can see kind of exactly what I'm doing here. Now just holding pressure. Probably a little low. I'm looking at it. It's okay. It's hard to tell. Let's see. I think once we have the other side mounted, that's going to look okay. It's not bad. I mean, I feel like it could be a little higher, more upward, but I don't know if that will match as well, the line, so we're going to leave it like that. As you can see, pretty flush. Locks down here. And you still got your screws underneath, so we're gonna move to the other side, do the same thing. It's kind of always lining up in the front. Over here, same kind of deal. I may block this view for just a second. All right, so I'm gonna pull these pieces off. Very similar to what I had on that other side. Holding pressure. Hang on, baby. Stuff grips like instantly. Looks pretty even on both sides. I kind of like the flow to it. I could theoretically be higher, but I think the way these mounts are. The only thing is you don't want air going underneath here, per se, because that could create a downward pressure. But I think once these mount holes are in there, this will be flush. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do the screws down underneath here. If we do them right, then we'll be in the paint. Those are closed, but they're not in it. I'm thinking about doing them anyway, just for added security. I mean, it's the under part of the bumper. No one sees that. It's already scratched, so it doesn't necessarily matter. And this is a soft area, I guess an access panel. And those are really not gonna have a ton of support. Let's see here. But it's better than nothing. Okay. Another screw. If you really wanted the extra, you could put these two in. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. Maybe for this one and that one. give it a little extra. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trial and error it right now. And just kind of see where we land. That one gets really close to the bumper anyway. Okay. Dropped one of my screws. I'm hurrying, baby. All right, so I'm gonna put tape down to this to hold this down so it gets a good adhesion. I mean, I don't see this thing, the way it's mounted. All right, so did the screws here, and I just did the corner ones. Okay, there. I didn't do the ones into the bumper. I don't know how much extra access that's gonna help. As far as support wise, there's these two, the third and fourth. So there's four. I don't think going in the bumper is going to give me much extra here, if anything. So I'm holding off on those. But you can kind of get an idea. I think it's going to be stable at speed, just because you're going to have downward pressure. I don't see this coming up and off with the mounting points. I think it's probably going to be stable. We'll see. I'll have it at high speeds and see how we kind of go time-wise. But that's basically how the fitment is. You know, you can kind of adjust it, make it up, down more. I think that's where I kind of like it. So I'm gonna lower this down, let you look at it real quick. Hang on one second. Okay, so I'm gonna try to tape this, give it time to adhere. Again, this is just painter's tape. I'm gonna leave this for like a day. I think the center is lifting up on it. I don't think I put it there yet. I'm worried that's actually gonna. Let's see, let's try it. It'll kind of create a downward pressure. All right, let's lower it down. That's it. Final product. Let's give it a day. Let's see where she looks. Okay, so finished product. It feels pretty stable, sturdy, kind of matches the rear. You can kind of see the double-sided tape in the corners there, which I don't like. I'm gonna probably find some way to hide that with some sort of trim piece or something. If you notice, the factory rear is kind of black, same kind of color, texture, so it does match, except for the carbon fiber spoiler. It matches just about everything else, all the trim on the car. So it looks to me like it should be there. The car's really high right now, so it'll be lower. I've got it on the highest setting because going into the garage it has to be. But that kind of gives you an idea, and I'll do a rolling video here in a second so you can get an idea what it looks like rolling.